everybody, I'm Kimmie Rose, and this is your weekly vibe and mantra for, I can't believe it, this was the last time I'm going to say August of 2020. It'll be over. We'll be in 2021 the next time that I say it. So, it is from August the 26th of 2020 all the way to September the 2nd of 2020 AD, and I can't believe it because I'm thinking about swimming. The last time I went swimming was, in the lake, like up north, and then in Hawaii, and my daughter has a pool, my parents, and I love to swim, and that's why I want to talk about this week's energy, the vibe. This week's vibe. This week's vibe is very, very challenging because it's all about your needs and practicing them, taking care of yourself. And you know, it's funny because I'm like, I put my hair up. I'm like, I want to be like a little girl today because usually think about when I took care of myself. I was little, but I also, I would say I could take care of other people. I worried about other people all the time. And a lot of times when you see kids doing that, you probably want to figure out why. I mean, sometimes it is in their astrology chart, but sometimes it is part of something they're going through that's even deeper. Often children who worry about others, who don't eat lots of sugar. They got something going on. And I was one of those children. I would always get bladder infections. I'd go and visit my family, come home with this terrible bladder infection or kidney infection. And I would internalize things. And I'm a survivor of incest, and I say that with a smile because I am a survivor, and I also know going through that, you know, as I talk about divine agreements, there was a divine agreement that happened in my life. It was that I made an agreement with my grandfather to forgive, and I'm working on it, okay? Because the more I grow, the more I realize that in order to truly forgive, I have to truly be able to say, I can take care of me, and I'm not always taking care of everybody else in the world. Not the world, but around me. So, self-care. Some things that I want to share. It's like the more we put, I don't want to say, the more you put others' needs over your own, you're essentially telling yourself that your needs are not important. Every time you justify this, letting a friend continue to pick a restaurant you hate or you don't like, but they like, and you continue to take on too much work, you're not speaking for what you want. Now that's some of us, because I get upset when I can't get all my work done because I love my work. As a matter of fact, I just added on a weekly giving everybody a tarot card and a lesson to help you wake up, so you'll get to learn the tarot and take in the energy of each tarot. And as you can see behind me, I don't know if you can see that, I'm got my crystals and my crystal grids. And I love this because this is like one of the things I love to teach from. It's like different parts of the brain, and like this is where we right in this part, we look at respect, strength, self-esteem, community, and caution. It's interesting. If you pay attention to your head, or the bridge of your nose, is your individuality. So the more you pay attention to, what fires off in your brain. I get it here a lot, so let me see what this is. Well. It is, that's really benevolence, respect. It would be, let's see, benevolence. Interesting. I get like this like fiery feeling up there, and it's like between that and human nature. And that's interesting because human nature, that's a thing I often am challenged with, is the way people are. I don't know if anybody's been feeling the energy, but I don't. I'm in this time where it's like, I didn't say that, I didn't mean it, that's not how I'm doing it, and how could you get me? Like, and then I look at myself, and I honestly take it serious when people say to me, you're this or you're that. And I don't know how many times I went into a psychologist and said, hey, this person in my life said, I am this. And my counselor that I was seeing would look at me and go, that's not, you're not a narcissist. I'm like, yes, because the person that said it, I trust. I mean, I do not think that they would just say that. And she said, do you see what you do? You enable people to abuse you. And I'm like, no, that means I'm not being kind to them. And she said, no. If you were a narcissist, you wouldn't be behaving this way, and all the things that we talked about would have came out totally different. And so she took me through the steps, and what I found was that you can be a victim of a narcissist, and that narcissist can affect the person that calls you one. So maybe you have a child who is not even knowing that they are being, they're being told things, and that and you're seeing maybe your child going away from you. What a narcissist does is that narcissist takes people away, or wants you to think the worst of someone who is important in your life. Wants you to see their weakness. So, I think the most important people in our lives are our family, and we have other family, we have spiritual family, but mom and dad are important. And when one parent does that to another, that is a narcissistic behavior, because you don't do that. You don't. And in my case, it's been the case of one of my kids' dads and the other one a grandmother. And it's just like, I didn't get it. I had to go through a lot of, a lot of things. And then anger came out. And I just said, I can't take it anymore, because I didn't like seeing my child going through pain. And she said, what about you? And I go, it's really painful, but I love them, and I don't want them to hurt, and I don't want them to ever think that about me, because if they only knew how much I love them. And you know what? She said, stop it. You're letting yourself become victimized again. And as a little girl, it happened when you were older. And it happened by both of these people. My ex-mother-in-law and an ex-husband. Neither, I was married twice. Neither of them related. But stop it. Let it go. Who needs to figure it out will figure it out. And she started giving me some exercises. She said your needs are important, and you do have a need. And one of the most important needs you have is your children. And I've been a mom since I've been 18, and for my kids to not be in my life, it's awful. And some people I talk to, it's so easy for them. It's so easy for them just to, oh, get them out the door. For me, I miss them. I miss the noisiness. I miss, I miss them. But when you have a child that says this, I'm upset or I don't want you in my life because basically I'm not seeing that, they call, first of all, they call you a narcissist, and they say, that you would give the shirt off your back for anyone, but then they don't like that you're not taking care of yourself. So then what happens is when they go away and then this stuff happens, you're hearing all these things are being said, it's like, why are you abusing me more and more? I don't say that to them, but it's really hard. Like she said, isn't that hard to practice self-care? How many of you feel that way, that like you're really trying to love yourself, but like when people are hurting you and they're telling you to be better, get better for yourself, you have a hard time doing it because they're literally, you feel like they're crushing you. And why can't, if they loved you that much, why wouldn't they say to you, I love you and I'm here for you? Now, that's not something that you would say out loud. Or I think it inside my head, but to say that to me would be like, because I don't want my kids to take care of me. I am their mom. I'm supposed to take care of them. But those thoughts are there, and it is that, and I am a very open person who will always share with you, because I am not perfect. I will never claim to be perfect. I'm on a journey. I have lessons to learn, just like all of us do. But that is what keeps me from the self-care, because I have always been a person who puts self-judgment. And even if I know something isn't true after lots of counseling, I still, because I love so deeply, I still listen to that, and it's hard to get out of my head. So I was that kid that if I thought a thought that wasn't good, I would go to the priest and say, I thought a bad thought. Like, I always was constantly trying to clear, and literally I started to pull myself even out of doing this work, because I thought, I cannot be a teacher or a mirror or example to anyone if I am not totally standing, in that perfection. And then I realized something, that it's in the lessons of imperfection that we truly heal. And when we can express those imperfections, it doesn't even mean you're not perfect. It's a challenge you're going through. You are practicing self-care by saying to yourself, here's what I'm going through, and I'm asking for your prayers or your help, your strength, because you feel like it's like everything's closing in. But in reality, you're closing up the door because it's the judgment you put on yourself. And a narcissist will say to you, how can you even do that? How can you even go and stand up in front of people when you're like this? They will try to make you feel so bad about yourself that you will literally stop great things that you're doing. And that is what, like, I went through this major wake-up call, and it was like, I'm not doing this anymore, no more, stop it. And when I'm hearing people I love who are saying things to me, and I'm like apologizing, just making these things up in my head, I'm like, they don't want to hear the negativity.
Without the ends, and every breath of hers was a thorn in his eye, and every petal's blushing red. They saw my fingertips and my electric lights becoming